Hey, Justin, this is Ryan with TrendLizard.com. Thanks for signing up at TrendLizard. Thanks for becoming a professional level member on our site. For those of you who don't know, at TrendLizard.com, we use the Elliott Wave theory in real time on 40 different ETFs. Soon we are going to cover stocks and cryptocurrencies as well. For any of you who have stocks, ETFs, cryptos, or anything else you want me to analyze, come sign up. We'll take a look at this stuff for you as well. Justin, you asked me to take a look at Royal Helium for you. This is a stock that trades on the Toronto Stock Exchange. The ticker, at least as far as the ticker on stockcharts.com, is RHC.V. It was incepted back in 2014, spent a good portion of its life trending lower, but as you can see here, that pullback appears to be one large ABC correction that appeared to have completed in 2019. Obviously, things changed from there and have turned up pretty firmly off of that 2019 low. So the things that interest us most pertinently is the advance off that 2019 low. Now, the way we have it labeled is as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave advance off of that 2019 low into the early 2021 high from there. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit, take a closer look at that 5 wave advance. First, I want to take a look at it in a little different light. Now, in that first chart here, this is taking a look at RHC in a linear form, which just shows it with every box being an equivalent percentage gain. This here is a logarithmic scale, and it just looks at it in a different light just to kind of flesh out why we think it's a completed 5-wave move and why that 5-wave move is now being corrected. Again, you can see the low in 2019 led to a pretty clear 5-wave move, and then what's happened in 2021 has been substantial to the downside, a very large pullback when you look at it in this linear format here. Clearly the largest pullback that's happened off that 2019 low. That is why we've gone with this labeling here to the upside. So obviously the question becomes, where are we in this counter trend pullback? Because once this counter trend pullback completes, the expectation would be for another 5-wave advance to begin. So let's go ahead and zoom in at what's gone on here in 2021. So from here, let's see, we went from this is a weekly scale, which shows weekly bars. Apparently, only the data that we have on a 60-minute time frame begins in 2020. So we don't get all that price action, but it appears that if we, based on this labeling here, basically starting here, what we have is that 3rd and 4th wave, and then a 5th wave to the upside, and then that counter trend pullback. Now, the good news is the pullback that has occurred to this point looks like an ABC move, as you can see to the downside here. It has retraced a Fibonacci portion of that 5-wave advance, which is shown in the yellow area. Basically, that's a 38.2% to a 61.8% retracement to the downside. And again, the question is, did that pullback complete, and is RHC ready to resume its uptrend? So let's go ahead and continue to zoom in here. Unfortunately, there isn't a ton of volume on this guy, and therefore we've had to go to a kind of a line scale as opposed to a candlestick scale. What we've seen to the upside so far is not super definitive. It's hard to say if this is the start of the uptrend just based on what we've seen so far. That initial up leg could potentially be labeled as an ABC move. Obviously, if it's an ABC move, that wouldn't be a trendy move. That would be a counter trend move. However, we can also look at it in a different light and maybe say, okay, this is a first, second wave, and then we have another first and second wave on its way to the upside. So it has not yet been determined if RHC is ready to resume its uptrend. If it did resume its uptrend, it needs to stay above 49, basically the level that it tested last week. If it continues to move lower, we'd have to look at this recovery here and think it's probably more likely a counter trend move and not yet ready to resume its uptrend. If we take a step back, that would mean that this pullback again is not quite over yet. If that is the case, if it moves below that level, we would have to expect a larger pullback. Ultimately, it needs to stay above 35 to remain bullish overall. If it's able to do that and is able to move above 70, then we can look at this as very potentially a completed counter trend pullback, and then look for trendy upside movement here. Again, not super clear yet in that price action off of the 2021 low, But if it's able to continue up through 70, then all of this begins to look more like a counter trend move and then becomes something that looks more tradable to the upside. So that's what we're looking for. Ultimately, it needs to stay above 35 on a shorter time frame. It needs to stay above that low that was recorded just last week here around 49 to remain bullish. If it moves below there, we'd have to expect a larger pullback to form before it resumes its uptrend. And again, the key is to find trendy upside action to confirm that it has designs on continuing north from here. So I hope that's helpful, Justin. Thanks again for becoming a member at TrendLizard.com. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you again very soon. Take care.